Good morning, boys and girls of the internet. Today is Monday, December 3rd, 2018, vlog 336. Oh, it's cold again this morning. I knew today would be cold. We didn't get no more snow yesterday, as I suspected. Today's a clear day, but because we did have snow yesterday, right now it's even colder. It's 21 degrees outside this morning as of 6:40 in the morning. Oh, it's freaking cold. Once again, I stupidly forgot any gloves, but let's see. Yep, I put on my heated seat and warm my hands on under my butt. Whew, cold. There's a couple of rumors going around, and of course, I mentioned this before about next generation of consoles, but there's something interesting that came out, and of course I don't think it's going to be true. That it's rumored that the PlayStation 5, no date set yet, of course, that they're saying that it may be capable of pushing 8K visuals. 8K. This kind of comes on the heels of NHK, the Japanese broadcasting company. That's kind of like their biggest broadcaster in Japan. They just finally rolled out official 8K broadcasts to all of two people that probably have an 8K TV in Japan, because 8K is an existing thing. It exists. The specifications for it, the televisions that support it, you can buy one if you're rich enough. Not too many people are, and I'm sure it's a few and far between, thing in between. So I'm sure that whoever does have it, whoever is getting any type of broadcast at 8K, they're pretty much a guinea pig. They're, it's kind of like a proof of concept at this point. Because the problem with 8K is not only delivering that amount of bandwidth, that amount of this data. I mean, you're talking 4 times the amount of 4K. 16 times the amount of 1K or 1080p video, standard, HD quality. So that's a lot of data. It's a lot of pixels. But one of the problems is also just capturing said content. Yeah, there are cameras that shoot in 8K natively. A Red Epic. Those cameras are ungodly expensive, but they can shoot in 8K. Who the fuck is shooting in 8K? Almost nobody. Because not only is it difficult to capture, even if you have an 8K camera, you already have the money to capture it. Okay, fine. But then you have to edit it, and it's hard enough for computers today. Yeah, you can get really powerful ass computers. You can get really powerful workstations. But the editing pipeline for just editing 4K, it needs an immense amount of data, and it's just super hard to work with. Yeah, it's a lot easier nowadays than it used to be. 8K is just a lot more than that. And not only that, I remember when HD first became a thing, when we started getting 1080p broadcasts. One of the things that a lot of broadcasters were worried about, especially for the local news or whatever, any type of TV program, is that, hey, now your live TV personalities are being filmed with higher resolution cameras. They better have better makeup on, otherwise you're going to see a lot more flaws in their skin. And you're going to see pores, and you're going to see, so that had to be the thing to be addressed. Can you imagine with 8K? be able to count the pores on, the skin of anybody. It doesn't matter how much makeup they have unless they're wearing like a mask of makeup, which I find funny. So that's a lot of detail. So once you capture it and edit it and broadcast it, who the hell's seeing it? Back to the PlayStation though. They showed, they had a little, like, it's not a little, I guess it's a big electronics conference in Japan. And Sony showed off this prototype, what was it, 430-inch 8K screen that ran at like 120 hertz. So it wasn't anything to shy, it was ridiculously ginormous, probably millions of dollars just to be a prototype. And they showcased what looked to be the next generation Gran Turismo. And now I'm pretty sure it was all pre-rendered. They probably rendered it in 8K to show it off, because there's no computer hardware that can probably render that in the resolution that they were pushing, the frame rates they were pushing. People can render 8K games. It's been done before, but not very efficiently. People got like 4K screens, and of course the latest and greatest graphics cards, tied them all together, and they were able to run like Minecraft. Again, Minecraft's no slouch, but it's not no photorealistic, racing game simulation. So like I said, I'm pretty sure they probably pre-rendered something at 8K, which I'm sure looked really, really nice when you saw it in person. Because when they showed it on the screen, whoever put it out there on YouTube was just videotaping the screen. So of course you lost all the quality. That's definitely something I would love to see up close and personal. That's gonna be amazing. But as I stated, I think once before, is it really that the next generation of consoles, the only real reason for them to increase their power is for resolution? Because that's pretty much what it's gonna look like. Because when you bump up resolution that high, like sure, back in the day, say like PC gaming, when people had like CRT monitors and they were going like 480 up to like 720, that wasn't a big jump, but even then that was an accomplishment. And yeah, we're going up in leaps and bounds nowadays, so there's no real comparison, but back then it was like just incremental, and it wasn't much of a chore for games to really accomplish that. Like even the jump from like 1080p gaming to like 1440p. For some people that's a big difference, but it's not really that much of a jump. You know what I mean? Go to 4K, that's a big jump. From 1080 to 4K, yes, that's quite a jump. But then to go even more, I mean, what next? Are we constantly going to be multiples of 4 from now on, and we're going to go from 4K to 8K to 16K? Is that the next step? I honestly hope that we get to this point of diminishing returns, because We're already seeing it. 4K screen has a shitload of resolution. Has already been, many, many discussions and videos and papers written about at what resolution can your human eye really discern, from a normal viewing distance. When you go up in resolution, that allows you to have bigger screens, that's for one. But how big can you really get in a reasonable home that normal people can afford? That makes it worth it. If you think about it, they have a 1080p screen at giant ass 80-inch screen. Those pixels are going to be huge. Even at 1080, you're going to notice the pixels. Even on my screen, my nice LG 4K TV, if I sit up close to it, I can see pixels. But we're going to get to a point where the dot pitch, the pixels per inch on our televisions, come down to a point where it's like on our smartphones today, where you literally cannot see those pixels with the naked eye. As close as you can get to them, you got, most phones have like a 1080p screen. Some even have a little bit higher resolution than that. But at the screen size of like 5 to 6 inches, you can't see those pixels. It's impossible to see. Everything looks super crisp. The edges look sharp as hell. You don't see no jagged edges, nothing. Our television is going to be like that, where no matter how close you get to it, it's going to be super crisp and no discernible pixels. If you think about it, get our little 6-inch phones and get as many as you can to make like a 70-inch display and just put them all next to each other. How many pixels is that? Let's do a little more simple math. Let's get a 60-inch display. 6-inch screens, 60-inch display. That's 10. You need 10 by 10 phones. So you'll need 100 phones. So 100 times 1080p, that's 108,000 p. What is that in vertical resolution? 1920. Sorry, horizontal resolution. 192,000. 192,000 by 108,000. Let's do the math on that to see how many actual pixels that is. I'll pop up on the screen here because I'm driving and I can't do math right now. That's like millions. That's actually probably billions. But I don't think, getting back to consoles, I really don't think they're gonna push the PS5 to really do that, because I can see where maybe they'll build into it the capabilities to push 8K content as in video. So the video outputs from it will have the bandwidth to push 8K. However, as of right now, the 8K content that people are getting in Japan, the satellite receivers they have 4 HDMI outputs. So the TVs they have 4 inputs. So you need all 4 right now to even drive an 8K TV. Most consoles, you just have the one output. Maybe in a couple of years you'll start seeing, a higher bandwidth spec cable. I wonder how much further HDMI can be pushed. maybe everything has to go to a totally different spec. So just saying, for example, if the PS5 can push out 8K signals, a downloadable, that's gonna be fucking huge. Streaming, you're gonna need a tremendous internet. Hell, I'm averaging 75 megs, in terms of speed, and I can do 4K now. I don't know what I'll need for 8K. I need 4 times that, at least. Again, we're back to the diminishing returns. You look at games like Uncharted 4, for example, God of War, hell, even some older games like Infamous, and we have the Last of Us 2 coming out. Even like Red Dead Redemption that just came out. That game is beautiful. But how much better can the games get? I know a lot of people said that for like 20 years. How much better can graphics get? They can get a lot better, but a lot of it now is just minute details. For example, like, look around Red Dead, and the huge world. The only thing really more you can add to it is maybe a little bit better detail in the characters if you go really up close to them, because right now they're really good looking. I never played the game, but I've seen plenty of footage of it. The world itself, you have like denser foliage, better physics for the trees and foliage that look more realistic. Every tree has a branch that's actually physically, modeled and gets affected by wind and rain and the weight of snow. And the world, can be much bigger. You can have bigger worlds. If you go up to a wall or something, the texture will be nigh imperceivable in terms of pixelization of the texture. It's even like there's a part in Uncharted 4 at the end where you're walking around the house. You're Nathan Drake's daughter. Spoiler alert. And there's like a picture book on a desk that you could look at. When you look at it, the camera zooms into it, but the resolution is not very good on the pictures, because all they did is they put basic textures on it, and they didn't bother to put higher resolution textures on it. And it's kind of jarring, because normally in the game, like, you're not that up close to textures, and you don't see how low resolution they actually are. Most of the game there, you're at a distance from it, from all the surfaces, and you don't notice any pixelation in the textures. So little things like that, you can have higher resolution textures, but when you have more high-res textures, you're gonna need more space on the disk, which in the future it won't be disks, it'll be all downloadable. So you'll need giant-ass hard drives, unless they figure out a way to stream all the data to you as you play the game. That's gonna be ridiculous as for internet. Your system is gonna have to have a shitload of RAM in order to access that data at a reasonable rate. Maybe even have SSDs in there, like NVMe drives, or even Intel Optane type memory, things like that. So, dog. You need power like that just to kind of push the added detail. And once you add that much detail to your games, is your games even becoming that much better? No, they're just becoming more detailed. It's not a bad thing, but already right now, say if we took that extra power and just added that to 1080p games, you know, then we could hit like astronomical frame rates. I guess that's what PC gamers kind of do nowadays. They don't worry about resolution. They play just on 1080p screens that are super high frame rate, high refresh rate, I should say, and they make sure that their games can play at like, oh, I'm playing this game at 140 frames per second. Okay. So it's kind of a trade-off. Like, what do you need? You don't need resolution, you need frames. If you want both, your game's gonna have to suffer, or you're gonna have to, I don't know, do something. Because we already in an era where you can have photorealistic games at certain resolutions. The higher resolution you go, you'll need to drop the detail in order to not burn up your system. The future is interesting, my friends. To see where next generation of consoles are going. I can't speak this morning. The next generation of consoles are going. See what they're gonna hit. Quite honestly, here's my little theory I just came up with last night. You know how Nintendo likes to innovate? They like to say they innovate, but they don't really innovate, if you ask my opinion. But if you want to see something innovative or different from other people, because right now they have their quote-unquote console that is pretty much a glorified PS Vita, or it's their Wii U, but in a smaller package and portable. So all they're really doing is just condensing their existing, you know, ideas down. But hey, Nintendo, take a look at what Microsoft is doing with HoloLens and resurrect the Virtual Boy in a holographic method. Do that. That would be innovative. And I ever since I first saw HoloLens, I saw that as the jumping off point to fully immersive holographic video gaming. If we can get to a point where we can have just, you know, a pair of glasses on, or, you know, a pair of goggles on, that's portable, you know, self-contained power, and projects any direction we look at, a virtual world that is there, but yet you can see your environment still, your actual real world environment. It's a mixed reality on the real and the virtual, and you can game on that. That's it. We're in the holodeck then. We're in Star Trek, and that's the world I want to live in. I want to have these goggles on and go to game designated areas, because I don't want games to be developed where you can actually walk anywhere, because you'd be distracted and like walk into the street, and even though you can see the street, you'll still get hit by a car. But like, imagine like going to a park that's like designated a game, and the game knows to, you know, if you get to the, you know, an edge of a park, to pause the game. So stuff like that. This is ideas, but you're in this park and you can like play a role-playing game. You'd be like playing Final Fantasy, and it looks like you're LARPing to everybody, you know, but in your face, in your eyes, you know, you see a whole realized world, you know, a fancy realm where you're, you know, killing dragons and shit. Fuck yeah, I'm down for that. What do you think about that? Let me know down below. I rambled on enough, so I will end it for now. So I'll talk to y'all later. Everybody have a good day. I love you.